Right, I'm going to talk about the Bristol accent. My late father used to get very frustrated with television companies, particularly those who used to put on plays and television series where there were actors trying to put on a Bristol accent and failing miserably. Because all the time he speak like this, which was sort of like, sounded like a cross between Somerset and East Anglia gone wrong. And what was interesting, everywhere from Cornwall to Devon to Somerset to Dorset to Bristol to Oxfordshire, all the way over to East Anglia, they all use the same accent. And I think it's probably a fact that nobody in any of those places speaks remotely like this, or remotely like the accent that these actors would affect when they were doing their TV shows or TV series or their dramas or whatever. So, as I'm from Bristol, I would like to give a more accurate demonstration of the Bristol accent and its varieties. Many years ago, I bought a very good record. I think it was called Sounds of Bristol, and on it there was a demonstration by Geoffrey Woodruff of the Bristol accent, and he had some he had it spot on really. He used to talk about the women that he used to say they talk a bit more sloppy, and I think sometimes when you go out on a night and you listen to the women talking, talk about going down Chicago rock and listening to soul music, and all that. And when they talk about soul music, they don't mean music that you soul would to. They mean soul music, sort of Marvin Gaye and all that. I mean that's fairly broad example of a broad accent. And again, Geoffrey Woodruff said the blokes is more brutal. They speak a bit more like this, which is true to a point. You do find people from Bristol speak like this, right? No doubt about it. But you also come across quite a lot of blokes who speaks like this as well, and which is not sort of quite so brutal. On the other hand, it's not so sloppy. It's fairly broad, but not an exaggerated example of a Bristol accent. Um, of course, there are uh, what we used to have a laugh at was certain Bristolians who took very great care over their diction, but couldn't conceal the fact that they had what is called a Bristol burr. Always remember a chap who was a Bristol City Councillor. I think his name was Graham Robertson, and used to talk about his shallots. And he had this rather interesting accent. And we used to all find it rather amusing because he took great care to pronounce all his T's. And going on from that, there's also an accent that we used to describe as Postolian. Now, a Postolian person won't be immediately recognisable as a Bristolian because normally their diction will be very good, but every now and again they will no, shouldn't say lapse. You will suddenly hear a word like the word I said there, where the Bristolian R is the Bristol burr is certainly very distinct and recognisable. I think, did I say Richard Scudamore, the chief executive of the Premier League, is, I think he's such a person. Um, as for me, myself, I am a Bristolian. My accent ranges from broad Bristol to very slight Bristol to almost non-existent Bristol, and especially when I'm with my brother who works in the academic world, and the Bristol accent goes almost completely when I'm with those guys. I also like to confuse people by starting off a sentence in a posh voice and then going into Bristolian sort of midway through the sentence and then coming back to the posh voice. It seems to confuse an awful lot of people. Um, I don't do that too often because I think most people would think I was mad. but a lot of people outside of Bristol would say Bristolians is mad anyway. Okay, that'll do for now. Bye.